Welcome to day 10 of the 40 days of praise with the Praising Child. I'm giving praise to God for celebrating 40 years of His grace and His goodness in my life. And thank you all for joining me to celebrate. Big thank you to those joining us on Facebook Live. Big thank you to those joining us on Zoom. And thank you to those who are going to be watching it as a replay on YouTube. Okay. So today I did mention I was going to talk about my secondary schools. And I spoke about Queen's School yesterday. So today I'm going to talk about the second secondary school I went. It's quite interesting that even though I spent 1 year in this particular secondary school, it takes the glory for my secondary education, because when I am asked that where did you finish from, I will say I finished from ISI, even though I spent 5 years in Queen's School. So we pray that wherever we have sowed, God will grant us the grace to reap. Other people will not take our glory in Jesus' name. Anyway, so Queen's School was great, as I said yesterday, for those that listened yesterday. Going to ISI was a different ball game. Was a different setting. ISI is the International School Ibadan, and it's located inside the University of Ibadan. So there were lots of children, of lecturers, and all of that. It was quite interesting that as at the time I went there, I spent, as I said, I spent only 1 year there. So it happened to revolve around some circumstances that made me go there at that time. And that was related to ill health. And this particular episode was significant because it was at that time that I saw what praise could do in my life. So the summary, the short version of it was that I had what was a nervous breakdown at that point, and it lasted about 3 months. Within those 3 months, I could not go to school. And during that time, I was singing a lot. I was praising God. Sometimes I'll be singing and it would be making people around weep that, see this girl, she's not really well, but see how she's praising God. And it was in the midst of it that God lifted that depression away from me and I became whole and healed. And so by the time I was changing over to this new school, it was a bit of an adjustment because I hadn't been in school for some months. And I was also in a new school, which was like a new challenge. And when I arrived in school, I was carrying a water bottle. I was wearing socks. People were looking at me strangely. But, as God would have it, God sent me helpers at that time, both teachers, both students. Even my mother had to help me write my notes because I needed to catch up. Some of my classmates, even they were not even really friends with me. It was just surprising, amazing. They offered to write my notes for me. So like 2, 3, 4 people wrote my notes for me because I had lagged behind like 3 months. And they were super supportive. And as I said, God lifted me out of that stage of my life and I was well. And I decided I was this 1 year in ISI, I'm going to do everything I want to do. So I was in school choir, I joined basketball team, as in I was just trying to have a great time. I couldn't do too much. I was still in the library lots of times because I knew, okay, this is my final year. I need to prepare for my final exams. And one significant thing that happened in that year was that I needed to make a choice about the course I was going to study. And prior to this time, I had always thought I was going to be an engineer like my father. So I'd kind of been primed like all my life that I'm going to do engineering, but I wasn't super good at further maths. And when it came to a time where I was going to need to choose between further maths and biology, it was like, of course it is biology. So I really liked biology. So that choice was made. But then I needed to go and see the guidance counselor. So I went the first time. He said, what do you like to do? I said, I like taking care of people. I like touching people. He said, maybe you should do pharmacy. I said, no, I don't like pharmacy. I don't like the smell of medicines. He said, maybe you should do medicine. I said, okay. So it was not one of my first choices. It was just something I needed to do because I needed to make a decision in that final year. And I think my father followed me to see the guidance counselor like 3 times. We say, and it was very interesting that most of the people that said, oh, I'm going to do medicine in my final year, most of them didn't end up doing medicine. And me, that I was not overly keen and I was a bit shaky about what am I even going to do. I have no idea. I ended up doing it, though it was not straightforward. But we will get to that point further down the line because I said I went to 2 universities. So it was not a direct walk into medicine. But here I am today. I'm a doctor today and I really, really enjoy it. So that was the story of ISI. Okay, so I used to notice a set of twins going to school in the morning when I was being dropped at school. They used to walk beside each other. They looked like peas in a pod. For those that know me, you probably already know that I like twins a lot. And I have a lot of friends that are twins, especially identical twins. So I used to watch them. I used to like watching them. They would just be walking beside each other, going to school, their backpacks on their backs, their hair done exactly the same way, always talking and smiling to each other. I ended up becoming friends with them by the time I entered university because we ended up going to the same fellowship. But yeah, those are some of the pretty sights in ISI. And then it was interesting because we used to sit down to have assembly in ISI. Where I was coming from, we used to stand at attention on the assembly ground. So going to another school where everybody was sitting down at assembly was a bit strange, but yeah, I got used to it eventually. So as I said I was in school choir. So there was one song that we were taught. In fact, one of our teachers actually wrote our music books. So I think she also taught us this song. This song was from the Caribbean. It was called That's Kokoti. And after I sing this one, I will sing our school anthem, which was just 1 verse long. Okay, so That's Kokoti is like a story of a gentleman who was being wooed by 2 women. Anyway, I'll sing the short version of the song. That's Kokoti. It's surprising to me. Anytime I drink it, I don't know where I be. If you want to find it, you better look for me. I turn my head and scratch my back with a cup of that Kokoti. Then he had verses. I was once engaged to a lady. Her love was all for me. In my ears, she whispered she loved me. She was all the trouble for me. But another lady did love me and take me away from she. And the only thing that bring me back is a cup of that Kokoti, that Kokoti. That was how that song went. Yeah, it's interesting how I remember it so many years after. Okay, so our school anthem was titled These Things Shall Be. These things shall be, a new generation in every land. All boys and girls shall stand for brotherhood of man and service to mankind and love for truth and peace from ISI. There's one acclaim we pledge our faith in this ISI. So once we finished that ISI, everybody just stood up and left the assembly ground. Okay, so I think I've touched on the highlights of ISI. The song I'm going to sing is a common song. Actually, I'm going to sing 2 songs. Today might be a little bit extended. It's a bit, we have a lot of things going on today. So I'm going to sing one song by Donnie McClurkin titled I Can. Yes, I Can. Some of us might know the song. It's a very beautiful song. Donnie McClurkin is one of the legends in gospel music that's probably framed some of our lives growing up. And the second one is a common song titled You Have Broken the Chains, because Jesus broke the chains off me and praise lifted me out of depression and out of a very terrible situation at that time. And God has showed me so much power in praise, which is why we're here today, actually, because you are celebrating with the praising child. Okay, so I will sing this song called Yes, You Can by Donnie McClurkin. I'm not going to sing it all, but I'm going to sing most of it. So if you know it, you can sing it in silence, muted, please. Listen, gather round. I found something that you can use. And if you listen well, I'm here to tell you, you cannot lose. Oh, a simple song, a simple melody to remind you what you can be. The greatest ever, defeated never. Even though sometimes you may lose, yes, you can. You can do anything if you try. Just try. Yes, you can. But you have to believe and rely on what you have inside. You can make it through your trials, for your trials will just make you strong. You can do anything. Yes, you can. Oh, oh. Teach your children well. It's time to tell them just who they are. Train them as they go. Let them know that they can go far. Oh, my brother, why do you wait? Now tomorrow just might be too late. For God gave the provision, made the decision. You can do all things through your faith. Yes, you can. You can do anything if you try. Just try. Yes, you can. But you have to believe and rely on what you have inside. You can make it through your trials, for your trials will just make you strong. You can do anything. Yes, you can. Oh, oh, oh. Yes, you can do anything. Yes, I can. I can do anything if I try. Just try. Yes, I can. But I have to believe and rely on what I have inside. I can make it through my trials, for my trials will just make me strong. I can do anything. Yes, I can. Oh, oh, oh. Yes, I can do anything. Okay, so the summary of what happened in ISI was that by the time I finished that last year in ISI, I finished with 4 distinctions and 6 credits, and all to the glory of God. It was like a huge hurdle. It was like I had won a marathon or won an Olympic race because of the hurdles that I had crossed to get to that point. And even though there were so many people that had 6 A's, 7 A's, 8 A's, 9 A's, in fact, one of my closest friends got the best results in school. But it was just the grace of God, because of course there were people I met in the school that did not even still do as well as I did, even though I spent 1 year there. But I just know that God really, really helped me. And that was the year I turned 15, and I had a big party that year because I was thanking God for seeing me through that particular year. Okay. And this song I've just sung, titled Yes, I Can. It reminds me of a book I read when I was much younger, titled They Said It Couldn't Be Done. And it's an old book, or very, very old book, very tiny book. But I read that book many, many times, and there were things that people had written. I said, oh, no, they cannot do it. They cannot carve faces out of rocks. They cannot do this. They cannot do that. And I was very inspired as a young person reading that book. So yes, you can do anything if you try, because of what you have inside and who you have inside. Okay. So the second song, as I said, is You Have Broken the Chains, which some of you might also know. And we are still going to do sing along. Sing along today is Ọlọ́run tó tóbi, Ọlọ́run bàbá àgbà. That means God who is big and God who is elderly. Okay. And then we are going to sing just the chorus of Waymaker, Miracle Worker. Okay. So I'm going to sing this one. This song, this one is song, it's not sing along. Oh Lord, most high, almighty King, the champion of heaven, Lord of everything. You fought, you've won, that's lost its sting. And standing in your victory we sing. You have broken the chains that held the captive souls. You have broken the chains and used them on your foes. All your enemies abound, they tremble at the sound of your name. Jesus, you have broken the chains. Jesus, you have broken the chains. Okay, so straight to the sing along. I'm sure we are over 10 minutes now. We're going to sing Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Even when I can see it, you're working. Even when I can feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I can see it, you're working. Even when I can feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. And then we'll sing Yoruba song. Ọlọ́run tó tóbi, Ọlọ́run bàbá àgbà. Ọlọ́run tó tóbi, Ọlọ́run bàbá àgbà. Ayé ò gbà ó, ó fọ̀run ṣe ibùgbé. Ọ̀run ò gbà ó, ó fàyè ṣàpótí. Ọlọ́run tó tóbi. Ọlọ́run tó bàbá. Thank you, everybody. Bishop wants to continue. Ó fọ̀run ṣe ibùgbé. Ọlọ́run gbà ó, ó fàyè ṣàpótí tìsẹ̀. Ọlọ́run tó tóbi. Thank you, everybody. It's lovely having all of you here. God bless you.